Right, welcome back. We are having one of the latest in the series of New Age Business Briefings brought to you by the SABC. Today, kindly sponsored by JIC Mining. And we've been having a fairly robust discussion about state capture, what it means, particularly in our context as a country that's independent, 22 years old. But the issues remain in terms of ownership. Land's been brought up, owning the economy has been brought up, and the state of capture itself. What are your thoughts? At Morning Live SABC, hashtag TNA BizBrief. We also have an audience here that have been putting questions through. We're going to start working through those questions, and let's see what our panelists can do in terms of helping us with this conversation. And we start at table number 12, where we'll find Sabelo Dlamini. Sabelo's at table number 12. If you could stand up, we'll get a microphone to you.
Thank you, Peter. I don't know, I'm captured. Because I wanted to ask a question. I wanted to ask a question here, the question about the state capture, but I wanted to find the clarity between Gupta's, Stellenbosch, all these mafias, call them even the Oppenheimer, all these kind of people. I wanted to find out the question of saying, who is capturing the state? But you know, the panel has made it short, and in fact, they have captured my question, all of them. In a nutshell, last time when I was here, I find that the Gupta's family banks were closed completely. Or maybe monies were closed by the bank. I said, if these are not people capturing the country, we should be wrong. If we cannot say those are the people that are capturing the country, those who have closed the account of the people who employed the number of people in this country. But I'm captured. All the questions that you feel like maybe I wanted to ask about the state capture, why it is so small with the Guptas instead of analyzing it broad.
All right, so yours is more a comment. Thank you very much.
It's like a comment now because already been answered by the panel.
Okay.
More especially Claudine and the
Thank you very much indeed.
Brief to the point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Table number 9 is that Mfana Futi Nkosi? Table number 9?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Mfana Futi Nkosi. Dumelang Sanbonani. Legai. Rete. I represent Maximum Styles Records, which is a young 100% black-owned record label. And 2 questions. First one is...
We only have time for one, so which one is the most important
not a problem. Reggae representation versus 90%. 90% is about running for about 4 or 5 months, if I'm not correct. However, we are still faced with a very serious issue when it comes to representation of this genre. Now, I will call this musical state capture, if there is such. Now, what I'd like to know is how and what is it exactly is the panel, especially Mr. Aguna and Mr. Claudio Mtsweneng, because this genre used written it in the mission statement of the 90% local content. However, we are not seeing it at all.
What genre is this?
Reggae.
Reggae?
Reggae.
So you're saying reggae is being captured?
I see a whole lot of dreadlocks. They will agree with what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I'd really want to know what is it that is going to be done. Because it's not as though we are not producing quality music.
All right.
We are producing quality music and also representation on TV. Reggae representation on TV.
Okay.
What is the SABC doing about that? Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to let you, you're going to be the only one I'm going to let you hijack this conversation and capture this conversation because you've got 2 representatives here. We are talking about state capture. We will have these conversations about music, about representation, about all of those kinds of things. But it's a difficult stretch to bring in reggae music into the state capture debate, but I'll let them talk a little bit about that if they have time. But let's go also to a question for Muxine Williams, actually. How much of state-captured business does the Gupta Oak Bay family have? Let me start with you, Muxine, and then we'll get an answer on that.
Thank you, Peter. Surprised me there. Last month, Oak Bay Investments announced financial results or statements for the financial year ending February. In the announcement, it was revealed that that revenue from state entities amounted to 99% of overall revenue. 9%. At some point in our history, we said that we were not going to do business with state entities. But with the advent of the new age in 2010, of course, it's dependent on advertising revenue. And of course, in 2013, we launched ANN7 TV channel, also dependent on state advertising. This changed. So only when the media companies were launched did we start to get increased revenue from the state. And of course, more recently, we acquired some coal mines, and we have been supplying coal to Eskom and some of its power stations. But overall, 9% of our revenue is derived from the state, and can hardly be described as state capture, where we are actually directly benefiting from having influence over the state. 9% of our turnover.
All right. Whilst you've got the microphone in your hand, let's just clear things up again. The position of the Guptas is that they did not try and influence the appointment of ministers, yes or no?
Well, I'm not aware of the background to that. Of course, I've seen the statement by the Deputy Minister of Finance. But you know, you're basically saying that the President of our country is unable to make his own decisions. I would assume that appointment to cabinet is first of all probably discussed with the ANC's officials, the National Working Committee, before the President arrives at a decision on who to appoint to his cabinet. Now, if the Guptas can cut across all that and influence the appointment of a minister, the family must be extremely powerful.
So the challenge that the public has is Mr. Jonas telling the truth, or is he not? Is Fakimento telling the truth, or is she not? If they are lying, is the Gupta family going to sue them for libel?
Yeah, no, you know, we've been. The problem with court cases, you know, this is in the political kind of arena, and difficult to go to court to try and counter what these people are saying. Of course, you know, court cases will happen in 3 years from now. So dealing with court issues, with political issues in court is not always the best way to approach it. But, you know, the family has been very strong in its denial of trying to influence the appointment of cabinet appointment, making cabinet appointments. It's you know, and what these people are claiming, we will have to see what comes out of the Public Protector's report.
Okay. Table number 5, we'll find Ramuada Romeo. I'm sure at school with a name like Romeo, you were a hit, eh?
Thank you, Peter. Well, yeah. I'm captured. The microphone is misbehaving. Yeah, Peter, I think you are very right. The state has been captured all along. It's not just an issue of now, you know. So I can give you an example. Just after democracy, already we were given political freedom, but still the economy was captured. So, but the same people that we're talking about here, your Ruperts, your Oppenheimers, that's why they've got billions now, because they've stolen from us, the people of this country. I agree as well with the chief. I still call him the chief, because he remained the only man who has actually transformed the SABC. That the SABC as well was captured by the same white monopoly capital in terms of procurement and running of activities. If you recall, after 1994, in the SABC, they were playing 70% international music. Our own cultures and our own local music and local content was compromised. That, according to me, is also another way of capturing the SABC. The same Jackson Mtembu got interest in the SABC. They are trying to influence decisions so that they are capturing the SABC to push their own agenda. Another issue that I would like to touch, Tulima Donsela is not a saint. We are not going to claim SABC people to be influenced by people who are actually working for white capital. She's very, very selective, and she must be ashamed of herself because she was very selective in terms of dealing with various court cases. She was actually interested in sabotaging black people. I agree with Andile. Why didn't she actually look into the CX report, which actually was saying 26 billion was stolen from the Reserve Bank. The Reserve Bank's money belongs to us as South Africans. So we're saying as young people, that case must be dealt with again by the new public protector. And we're saying to Tulima Donsela, just because she's out of office, she cannot say the state capture report is final. It cannot be final. The new public protector and their colleagues, they must look at it because it was not given enough time. The state capture is a very sensitive issue. It mustn't just focus on one family. When you look back, Peter, you must understand also there is actually the EFF, which was actually pushing the agenda of taking back the lands to the people and actually nationalizations of mine and banks. They are quiet now. We don't hear those things anymore.
Okay.
We are worried if these people are captured or they are working for white capital as well.
All right. Okay, you've had your 30 seconds, so thank you very much indeed. Again, I think more a comment than a question. Teboho, is that Sitatu?
This is very educational indeed. I think South Africans need this kind of programs, particularly to talk to the real issues. You know, this politics that we see all over where there's a narrative that is painted that black people cannot deliver on anything except be corrupt must change because for far too long, you know, in the ANC they talk of political education, but I think in this country we need what we call civic education. You do not have to be a politician, but you need to know the truth. We must never sweep things under the carpet. And I must commend the panelist, Andile. I know him, so he's actually telling it like it is. And I think South Africans must wake up. We cannot afford to sweep racism, factionalism under the carpet. The issue of transformation, and Peter, I think that question of the young man about reggae music is so relevant to this because for so long our music was captured by colonialists. If you say to a young kid, sing me a song, they're most likely to sing a Beyonce song. They will never heard of Dunokwe. They never heard of the late Muslim Mhlongo. They only know Maria Makeba because she fought a cause of transformation and freedom in this country at the UN. So I think the industry is very important of the music and the creative to begin now to write a new song. Let's write new songs. Let's educate South Africans about the real issues. You know, people with visions, like Saudi Mutsoning, people can call us names to say we are protecting a man. We protect the vision. He's a man with a vision. The 90% is going to change this country forever. It's going to change this country forever. This is not just about music, by the way. It's about our heritage. It's about who we are.
Okay.
It's about Ubuti Naboitu. So
right.
I want to say, I've got solutions. I want to ask you questions.
We don't have time, but
you've done so well in addressing this issue of state capture. There are politics underlying. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your thoughts. Table number 3, Keith Tabo. Table number 3. Keith, if you could stand up, we'll get...
Morning, Peter, and morning, panelists. I think we need to get to the basics of economics here. To some degree, we did not, as the government, as the new government, 1994, we did not focus on the basics of creation of wealth for the indigenous South Africans. That's where the problem is. Fundamentally and globally, State capture is a phenomenon that happens all over the world. But what the government should have done, or the ruling party, they should have focused more on giving business to black people. And black people would have at least given a direction of where the country is going. Unfortunately, SOEs are captured. And the other problem that the ruling party did was to create a parallel business structure called Progressive Business Forum. Therefore, you have people who don't understand what is business flocking to that, and they sidelines the structures like NAFCOC, FABCOS. We have got Black Business Council, of which I think the government should start working with. It pains us, Peter, because we believe poverty and unemployment is man-made. I have to get a project in Europe to train kids in this country all over the very same companies like your state, SOEs, broadband, infra, telecom, they give projects to the Chinese, to the whites. How dare do I compete with Huawei and ZTE and get the contract from Budapest? And I've got about 5 provinces on site, and I teach these kids to be engineers from planning, design to commission of site. Why can't BBI did it? They gave us 3 sites, Western Cape, Limpopo, and what they did, they pulled back. Maybe we did not bribe. So it's a question of the conscience, like Mr. Mhlauni said, the conscience of our leaders, both in government, both in SOEs. So I think the best vehicle for now to rescue the situation is for government to work with Black Business Council. And we'll give them programs of how best to turn around the problems under which we are.
So you're saying the SOEs have been captured by white business and white capital?
Peter, I'm running business all my life. I've been in business. Let me give you a practical scenario. Go around the telecom projects in this country. You see Chinese in these manholes. Those things we are doing it. We've been doing them. We can teach our kids. Okay. Why do we have Chinese men in those manholes doing splexing in those manholes? Why should this issue of BRICS is still there should be another separate discussion on the BRICS relationship with our government.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much indeed. Mr. Manyi, people are saying that Sean Abrahams has been captured and that his prosecutions are mischievous at best. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Look, I think in South Africa, we must stop being hypocrites. We must stop being hypocrites. We said that we're a constitutional democracy and we must respect all the organs of this democracy. NPA is one of those. NPA has got a constitutional authority to do prosecution. If whatever case NPA has is nefarious or not nefarious, the courts will decide. I just have a problem with people, especially people that hold authority, as it were, that are busy hurling insults at the NPA, that in fact those people are eroding the tenets of our democracy. We can't have that situation. Everybody in this country is the same in the law. There's nobody who is above the law. The rule of law in this country must reign supreme. And in fact, if you look at what people are doing, it's almost like they're afraid of Pravin going to court. Why? I mean, if this is a non-issue, why are they not allowing NPA to be embarrassed in court, as it were? You know, so I would be saying, even to the march on the 2nd, I think that march on the 2nd is a misguided march, and I would call on people not to attend that march. That march is misguided. That march is actually pronouncing a vote of no confidence to the judiciary. It's as if the judiciary is...
So people will say that it's because you are pro-President Zuma that you're saying all these things.
Yeah, President Zuma, by the way, I do not apologize for being a pro-President Zuma. I do not apologize. President Zuma, first of all, was elected by 75% of the branches of the ANC. I'm also an ANC member. So firstly, I don't apologize. Secondly, 62% of the electorate of this country voted for an ANC-led, for a President Zuma-led ANC. So I'm part of that 62%. So indeed, I
and I'm supportive of the current leadership of the ANC under President Zuma. And I think all those that are taking pot shots, as it were, are actually factionalists. You can't have people that are disgruntled, that have lost in Polokwane and have not recovered. People that have lost in Mangaung, that, we've got wounded people here that are still holding us to ransom. President Zuma is democratically elected. He must lead. And by the way, even this thing that Andy was saying is correct. The problem people have with President Zuma is that President Zuma is helping to decolonize us. South Africa must decolonize. The movement from the ICC is indeed decolonization. The movement and the focus towards the BRICS is decolonization. So President Zuma is actually what the South Africa needs, just like Claudi. Claudi is trying to decolonize the airwaves, as it were.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got colonized airwaves who are sitting here and who are being fed a particular narrative. And Claudi is trying to say, people, South Africa is not all this bad. There are other good things that must be shown on TV, and they want to kill Claudi.
Okay.
I think South Africa, ANC in particular, will regret the day Claudi leaves SABC. They will regret it.
Okay. Mr. Mutsoning, again, people say that you are pro-President Zuma and that the news must reflect that. Your thoughts on that accusation?
No, people talk. Those are their perception. My history will tell you. I joined SABC when I was still a student. I didn't even know President Zuma. I was appointed by many different managers at the SABC, black and white. And some of them, I think they are DA. They did appoint me because they know that Claudi can deliver. You see, that is key. I don't know how President Zuma comes when it comes to Claudi's issue. So I don't have any personal relationship with the head of state. But what I have is, we as South Africans, we should love ourselves. But what I know is, President Zuma, when it comes to education, he has produced engineers and doctors. And people are not talking about those good stories. And I'm not representing him here. You know, every year there are some graduations where he's funding himself, students. The same fees must fall. Many students are benefiting from him. And I'm not his spokesperson here. But I'm just saying, you see, in a human being, there are positive and negative. But people concentrate more on the negativity. But I think as the president of the country, he has done well. And let me tell you, the BRICS, you see, South Africans were lazy. When the President Zuma led BRICS and said, let us have BRICS, what he's saying, you as South Africans, you need to take opportunity and use BRICS so that they are able to invest in South Africa and transfer skills and expertise in South Africa. But I don't want to talk about politics because for me, I want to talk about social issues. And social issues are poverty in this country. Social issues are we need to make sure that we empower our own black people. But also we should not forget that there are good white people. I need to stress this. There are good white people who understand the transformation. Example, where I work with white people. When you check between white and black, actually you'll find that where white people are operating, they are well transformed in that unit. Where is black, there is a problem. Because transformation is not about color. You see, for me, I don't want us to deal with color. It's the heart. I always talk about the heart. If you are a white person, you have a good heart. We must appreciate that. And if you are a black person, you have been captured by the West, we must not appreciate you because you are black. So that is key for me. There are those white people who are doing wonders in this country. We should not ignore that.
Okay. Mr. Mkitama, the Hawks also have fallen into this conversation in terms of being captured. In fact, this police union are actually also saying that we should not have employed, the president should not have employed Berening Mklemeza as the head of the Hawks. Your thoughts on the Hawks being part of this idea that they've been captured?
The Hawks must just continue to do their work without fear or favor. You know, all of a sudden, the Hawks and the NPA are under attack because Pravin has been charged. I don't think we must allow ourselves to be bullied so easily. If Pravin is an innocent man, let him go to court and the court will declare him so. But this idea that because this darling of white capital has been charged, all of a sudden all the institutions of the state that are responsible for that are corrupt is a notion that we must reject outright. Now, capture has been going on a lot. You know, this brother was speaking from the floor about some organization. I remember almost a year there was a big march to the JSE. People saying they want economic freedom. And they said they're going to occupy ABSA. Now, you know, they went to London. Black people, you must be careful. When your leaders go to London, you must know that when they come back, they're no longer your leaders. You know, it is a year, 12 months later. Not even an ATM of ABSA has been occupied. I'm not talking about a branch. Because these leaders have gone to London, given instructions, and now you can see our metros, key strategic metros have been given to white people to run. A same idea that Declan was talking about, the slave mentality.
Right,
the idea that we must give white people power after they've oppressed us for more than 350 years. It's a shocking thing.
Why are the police unions saying that Mklemeza was a poor choice?
No, well, I mean, who runs the police union? What is the agenda of the police union?
So they're captured?
Of course they are. I mean, why don't they allow Mklemeza to do his work and let the court determine whether Pravin... Why is the nation being bullied? Why is the nation being blackmailed? Why is the nation basically being told that if Pravin does something wrong, we must all do nothing about it? I think we must reject this notion. Pravin must go to court. In fact, Pravin can do better. Pravin must leave. He must leave that ministry because he was employed by white people with whom he's got business. That's a clear, direct conflict of interest. He's not a man of integrity.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're starting to wrap things up here, so stay with us for that.